Hey, what's up everyone? Alan here. Welcome if you are a fitness professional, gym owner, or personal trainer looking to grow and scale your fitness business, get more clients, all that good stuff. You are in the right place. So today in this quick training, I wanted to talk about, what to do if you are running Facebook ads and then they stop working for your gym. So this is a conversation that I have with a lot of fitness professionals, whether they're potential clients, past clients, current clients, whatever you want to call it. They come to me and they say, hey, Alan, I've been running, for example, this promotion for a challenge consistently over 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months. And in the beginning, my cost per lead was $10, let's say, and then it starts to double over time, $20, $40 over time, and then advertising isn't as profitable as it once was. And there are a few reasons why this happens, and we're going to talk about those in just a second. So we got some people watching. Nicholas, Michael, what's up? Hey guys, thanks for joining this live. And from there, basically, there's one rule that's true for Facebook advertising that I've seen in my years of doing it for other gyms and now transitioning into teaching gym owners how to do it for themselves. All ads die eventually. So no matter how long they run for, it could be you can be running a successful promotion for 2 to 3 years. Not 2 to 3 years. What am I thinking? Let's say like a year. That's usually like the longest 1 year, 1 year and a half that I've seen like one promotion without changing anything to it, like continuously produce results just because it's a very, very good ad. It's targeted right. Everything's good. So it goes for about a year, but most of the time it doesn't last that long. And eventually after that time point, the ads start, going down and tanking in performance. And this is going to happen. So it's not your fault. It's just the nature of the beast. So think of it this way. When you're a gym, you're most likely advertising locally. You have a fixed audience size. So let's say you are advertising in the city of San Diego. San Diego is a pretty big city. Depending on where you're at, you're probably advertising around a certain, let's say 10-mile radius, for example, of the farthest people travel to come to your gym to work out. Well, you're advertising to that same pool of people. And if you have one offer that you've continuously been showing them over a long period of time, what ends up happening is, the performance goes down because they get something called ad blindness. That means they just see the ad over and over and over again. You get that initial bump, it's consistent, and then boom, it goes down over time because people are like, I've already seen that before. It's not very exciting. Now, another thing, and this is why I tell people, don't just rely on one offer. Don't run the same, cookie cutter free 6-week challenge, because if your competitors, and which is what most people are doing, they run the same offer to the same market in the same area, and it's the exact same ad copy, the exact same everything. People don't know what's different, and then everyone's running the same offer, and they're like, oh, well, this isn't as exciting. So what ends up happening is advertising costs go up for everyone. So also, when you spend money locally, after a certain amount of impressions, just meaning a certain amount of people that you show your ads to, over a period of time, you just spend enough money. You have a fixed audience size compared to if you were advertising nationally. You're going to serve enough impressions to people where they're no longer as interested in the offer. So let's think about now, how do we keep ads running strong 24/7, 365? And ultimately, one strategy that I've found to work pretty well, from my experience, is to just rotate offers. So I'm not saying challenge promotions don't work. I'm just saying that you want to rotate your offer so that you have more of a marketing strategy, because if you only have one offer, you're technically relying on a marketing tactic. And if that's you, cool, but you're going to see that performance is going to go down over time, and then you're not going to know what to do next. So rotate your offers, and maybe let's say you're running a promotion for a challenge for 2 to 3 months, the beginning of the year. And then from there, you do it January, February, March. After that, you rotate your offer and you do maybe some sort of low-berry offer for April, May, June. And then you rotate back in July, and you keep doing that back and forth. So at least when you are advertising to a local demographic, you're going back and forth with different offers, a fixed amount of people that you're advertising to. They're at least interested in the different offers that you have. Maybe they weren't interested in a challenge promotion, but if they want to come in for, I don't know, an example, a low barrier offer here, they're like, hey, you know, actually I'm excited for this. I didn't want to do that, but I want to do this. So that's one strategy, rotate your offers. And then from there, you want to look at key performance indicators, what we call KPIs. So from an advertising standpoint, these are basically the numbers that point you toward true north if your ads are performing from the numbers standpoint. And a lot of people get very emotional when they advertise. They're like, oh, I think it's working, I think it's not working. And what ends up happening is they make decisions based off emotion, and you know, you're changing all these things at once and you don't know whether the changes you made are gonna improve the performance of your ads. So we use KPIs. And I'm gonna talk about what those are in just a second, but what ultimately contributes the most to these KPIs from what I found is, and basically winning ads is your image or video that you use for your ad. That's gonna be about 60% of the effectiveness of your advertising campaign as to getting quote unquote a lower cost per lead. Let's say the goal is to generate leads, a lot of volume, lower cost. That's gonna contribute about 60% of the effectiveness. So having good images or videos that are for the right demographic, that are targeted to the right people and are engaging and get people excited about wanting to, you know, come in for whatever offer you have to your facility, that is going to contribute the most. Then the second most important thing is the headline. So how the headline and the image or videos work together is basically, you know, you're on social media, and as you're scrolling, you got to get into the minds of your prospective client. As they're scrolling through social media, they're competing with, you know, you're competing with funny cat videos, memes, other people's posts, and you basically just what you want to do with your ad is make sure that they stop and they say, whoa, you know, what's this about? This looks interesting, and just read the headline. So when you read a newspaper, or nobody reads newspapers these days, but if you go on like a blog or something and you want to know what it's about, you look at maybe the image, it stops you to see if it's interesting, and then you read the headline real quick. What is this about? Interesting, not interesting? Okay, let me read further. And that's the goal that you want with your advertising when you're looking to get prospects into your gym. Same concept, but you're doing it with images or videos, and you have that headline, and the headline's about 30% of the effectiveness of an ad. So having a good headline and having good image and or videos, that contributes like basically 60, 70, 80, 90% of the effectiveness of the ad. And then finally, what you say in the actual body of the ad or the ad copy is about 10%, sometimes 20% of the effectiveness. And those are the three main things. So usually what I find is, you know, people think, oh, you know, my ads aren't working. It must be this offer. It's got to be this offer. You know, I knew it. I shouldn't have done this low barrier offer. It doesn't work. This guy told me, my friend who owns this gym told me that this thing didn't work for him. So I knew it. I got to go with, you know, a challenge. That's not necessarily the case, because I've actually seen that if people simply switch up their offer, simply switch up the image and or videos and the headline, and they test different things with that same offer, they get an improvement in the performance of the ads. And what do we define as performance of an ad in this case? That's going to be lower cost per lead and more volume of leads, so you can bring more people in, sit down with them, sign them up, stuff like that. So we talked about images, headlines, ad copy being super important, and then from there, you know, rotating your offers, making sure that we're keeping people interested and not saturating with the same offer that everybody else has. And then after you're looking at those components, you say, okay, well, what is the other component that's going to contribute to having good ad performance? And if, let's say, your images are, you know, spot on, your ad copy spot on, your offer spot on, everything looks good, then we look at the landing page conversion. And that's basically, if you guys don't know what a landing page is, most people do, but if you don't, it's basically the page that people go to or they land on after they click the ad. So the landing page is going to also contribute. So if you're getting a lot of people looking at your ad, getting lots of likes, lots of people engaging, but when they go to the landing page, there's a misconnection between what you're talking about, or it's, you know, they want to learn more and it's not as exciting. Well, what's going to happen is in the landing page, that conversion is going to be low. It's going to drive up the cost of your ads. So sometimes people don't look into that. So it's a combination on the back end of images, copy, video, headline, and then your offer, and then from there, landing page conversion. So those are going to be the main contributing factors there. And we can get into the nitty gritty of everything, but I could be here all day talking about it, about the ins and outs of everything. So if you guys watching, if you guys have any question about the performance of your ads, maybe some stuff that you've tried before didn't work, anything in general that comes to mind, drop them in the comments, either now or after the video, and I'd be more than happy to take a look at what you guys are doing and give you some advice, from a different perspective. All right, so lastly here to wrap this up, ultimately we talked about KPIs as the physical numbers as to whether indicating whether basically KPIs, key performance indicators, to gauge the actual numbers and make decisions off of data rather than emotion. So what are those KPIs that you want to take a look at? So ultimately, your KPIs that you want to look at are number 1, link clicks, number 2, cost per click, and then CTR percent, relevance score, leads, and then cost per lead. And I'll dive into the specifics, but link clicks, pretty self-explanatory. Cost per click, that's pretty, self-explanatory there. And then CTR percent is click-through rate, which means what percent of people saw your ad and clicked the link to go and take action on whatever it is that you want them to take action on. And then relevance score basically tells you, based on the people that you targeted, out of a score of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how impactful, how much are your ads resonating with your target demographic that you put together. And then leads, obviously, total amounts of leads you got, and then cost per click or cost per lead is the last one. So basically what you want to do, and I'm going to explain how these tie in together. So let's say that you have I'm going to give you different scenarios. Let's say if you have a high cost per click, but your CTR and what we shoot for to be good is above 1%. So let's say your cost per click is $5 a click, but your CTR is 1% and your relevance score, these all tie in together, is like an 8 or a 9, which means that your target audience is resonating with the ads that you put up and they're clicking through at a pretty good percent, above 1%. That basically means that when the cost per click is high, but everything else looks good, it means that you're competing with the same demographic with other people on Facebook, and it's just a high cost to show ads to those people because you have other competitors targeting those same people. Now let's do the opposite and let's say your cost per click is low, so people are clicking your ad, but then the CTR percent is below 1%, let's say 0.4%, 0.5%, it's low. That means that people are looking at your ad, but they're not taking action. So basically that means that, either your images, ad copy, or headline aren't working well with your target audience. So you need to test different variations. And, we said that images and videos are 60%. So you want to start by tweaking different images or videos and keep everything else the same and then test again. And then obviously that's going to tie into relevance score. So if the relevance score is below a 7, your ads aren't performing well, and you either have to change the images, body copy or headline or a combination of those, and then try again. And then from there, basically, like let's say everything's spot on, low cost per click, CTR is above 1%, relevance score is at 8 or a 9, and then the landing page conversion is like, 5%, then that means that you have to change the whole layout of your landing page and put something together that engages people and gets them to take action on the ultimate goal, which is, in this case, let's say you want somebody to opt in for a lead. So that's kind of how it works. It's really, really high level here, and I can get into the specifics, and this is actually something that I teach my students on how to do. But if you're interested in learning more a little bit about the ins and outs of this and just making sure that you're putting together good ads year long, they're performing well, and ultimately get more leads to grow and scale a business, feel free to drop a comment below or send me a personal message, and we can talk, see what you're up to, and go from there. But aside from that, guys, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.